I swear Nintendo could offer a $10 cheese pizza or a $50 Super Mario's Sausage Edition, and this stupidly expensive one is the one that would sell out in seconds. Nintendo slop enjoyers would be defending it over on Reddit saying, well, when's the last time you got to taste Mario's meat? It's limited edition, oh my god. But in all seriousness though, Nintendo did just pull off 3 of the wildest cash grabs of the year, and people are still lining up to buy them as we speak. And it's bad enough that this is all overpriced and nostalgia, but there is one catch that might make this a lot worse. And don't get me started about Pokemon. Their latest announcements are just one credit card bill after another. Like, surprise, Mega Raichu is now obtainable at 0% interest for 24 months. So what's really going on here, and why does Donkey Kong's new bonus content have people saying that it is straight up criminal? Today we'll take a deep dive into all of these topics, but first, what's going on, guys? Cheers. And if you make it to the end of the video and you enjoyed it, consider dropping a thumbs up because it really helps small channels like mine beat the YouTube algorithm. Okay, so at this point everybody already knows that the new Super Mario Galaxy and Galaxy 2 bundle is $70, and when this was first revealed, everybody kind of had some sticker shock here. Everyone was like, holy Jesus, what? Not only is this an original Switch game, not the Switch 2, but it is literally just 2 ports of older games, one of which we already have on the original Switch because Mario Galaxy came out 5 years ago as a part of the 3D All-Stars bundle. So there's really only one of these games being new content to the Switch 1, and it is $70. That is more expensive than lots of brand new games coming out for the original Switch, because typically Switch 1 games are $60. So there was backlash when people discovered this price point. And by the way, these games individually are $40. So even if you only wanted Galaxy 2, you're paying twice as much as what Hollow Knight Silksong costed brand new for a re-release of this game. But here's where things get insane. If you go to Amazon and you look through the video game category at their best sellers, you will find something really heartbreaking. The very first game on the Amazon bestseller list is, you guessed it, Mario Galaxy 1 and 2 bundle. In fact, if we scroll through here, we can see it is higher than Metroid Prime 4 Beyond on the Switch 2. And while we're at it, let's actually take a look at the top 10 best-selling games on Amazon right now. Okay, we've got Age of Imprisonment, we've got Final Fantasy VII Remake Intergrade, we've got Bonanza, we got some 2K games, Borderlands, Minecraft, Hades 2. Let's compile all these games together and remove all the accessories and gift cards and all that stuff. So here we can see the top 10 best-selling games on Amazon today, September 15th 2025. What do you notice? Well, I noticed that only 2 of them are PlayStation games. The bestseller is the $70 scam re-release of Mario Galaxy 1 and 2, and 6 of the 10 games are $70. So great news, the $60 price point is officially dead. We have moved on to $70 and $80 games being the standard here, although it's worth noting that none of the $80 games are in the top 10, which is very nice to see. But remember when the Switch 2 was announced and everyone was freaking out about $70 and $80 games, saying, oh my god, Nintendo used to be the more affordable of the consoles, and here we are. 8 of the 10 best-selling games on Amazon are still Nintendo games, and 4 of the top 5 games are $70. So as it turns out, customers do not mind spending more than $60 on Nintendo games. That is not going to affect the sales apparently whatsoever here. And so despite all of the backlash that Galaxy 1 and 2 got for being a $70 bundle, it is already sold out at some major retailers. And this really just goes to show that the sort of narrative you see on Twitter and on Reddit is just not real. It is not what normal people think and feel, and it's not what people actually do with their money, right? You can see that this might be trending on Twitter. Oh my god, Nintendo is so out of touch. Oh my god, Nintendo's prices are so expensive. And yet here we are, the #1 best-selling game on Amazon is a $70 re-release, and one of the games is a re-release for 10-year-old hardware. It's actually insane here. But remember when I said earlier that there's a catch that might make this much worse, and that is the fact that it is being reported by multiple different sources. Here we have Wario64 reporting that the Mario Galaxy 1 and 2 physical release may not be announced as a limited product by Nintendo, but GameStop and one other retailer are getting limited allocations of the product. It may only affect initial launch since there's no indication of initial release, but we also see Nintendo posting the same thing, saying that it is up for pre-order at Best Buy, but they are hearing that it might be hard to get with a limited stock, at least at first. So here's why this is a big deal. All right, if you guys remember, back for the 35th anniversary of Mario, they released Super Mario 3D All-Stars, and this was a bundle with Mario 64, Mario Sunshine, and Mario Galaxy, and they said that this would be a limited time release for the 35th anniversary of Mario. And as we know, the new Super Mario Galaxy 1 and 2 release is a 40th anniversary release for Mario. So a lot of people are saying, okay, well, first of all, the 35th anniversary was limited edition. Second of all, these retailers are getting limited stock of the 40th year Mario celebration game. So I think people are putting two and two together and saying, okay, it's reasonable to assume that this might also be a limited time physical release. And why is that a big deal? And why does that make this so much worse? Well, if you go to eBay and you sort by the sold listings, you'll see that Super Mario 3D All-Stars is selling for about $100. So if you ever see this game out in the wild and you can pick it up for less than, I would say less than $70, I would say go ahead and get it, because even loose copies are selling for like 80 bucks. All right, so this is what people are worried about. This is probably why so many people are lining up to buy the $70 Mario Galaxy 1 and 2 bundle, because they're thinking, wow, okay, Nintendo might do the scummy thing and might make it limited edition, and then prices are only going to go up instead of down. They're saying, all right, well, let me just grit my teeth and spend the 70 bucks on this lazy re-release because I don't want to miss out in the future, or at the very least they're buying it just to resell it later, maybe like it's a quick 20 bucks profit. I don't know. Now, to Nintendo's credit, it's also worth noting that Super Mario Galaxy 1 and 2 were revealed by Nintendo to have enhanced Switch 2 support. So even though this is technically a Switch 1 physical release, if you do play it on your Switch 2, it will be a free upgrade for both Galaxy 1 and 2, so you can enjoy both games at 4K resolution in TV mode or 1080p in handheld and tabletop mode. Now, lots of people are also speculating that this is going to be 4K 60 frames per second, because as far as I know, the original Mario Galaxy 2 ran at 60 frames per second, and the new trailer for these games on YouTube also is at 60 frames per second. So while it doesn't say it here, it might be 4K 60. I don't know if that's confirmed or not. The game is not out yet, so we don't know for sure, but maybe that free upgrade is another reason why the game is selling so well right now, because not only do people think that it might be limited edition, but it's also going to be the definitive and best way to play both of these games, which are objectively very beloved 3D Mario games. And even if you already have 3D All-Stars, this enhancement is probably only coming to this specific version of Mario Galaxy. So in other words, if you already have 3D All-Stars and you could play Galaxy over there, that's probably not going to get the enhanced edition. So all of that to say, the Galaxy 1 and 2 bundle was super divisive when everyone saw the price point, but as you can see, it is a #1 bestseller. It's got free upgrades and people are buying it for one reason or another, aka the more expensive Super Mario Sausage Edition of the pizza. Let's move on to cash grab #2, ladies and gentlemen. Pokemon Legends ZA's Mega Chestnut, Mega Delphox, and Mega Greninja can only be obtained via online ranked battles. So if you guys missed my latest video where I covered everything revealed at the most recent Nintendo Direct on September 12th, they did reveal a few new Mega Pokemon. Of course, these 3 starters from X and Y were 3 of them, but we also got Mega Raichu X and Mega Raichu Y. And these are of course very beloved Pokemon that people have always wanted to see Mega Evolutions for, right? In fact, I remember playing Pokemon X and Y and thinking it was kind of weird that the game's main new mechanic brought Mega Evolutions to a ton of Pokemon, including the original Kanto starters, but not the starters for that game, which means that your most powerful Pokemon as you play through those games is usually your Kanto starter and not your actual starter for the game. So I always thought that that was a little bit weird, and so now we are finally getting these Mega Evolutions and players really want to get their hands on them, but now it's confirmed by Nintendo that the way you're going to get the items to get these Mega Evolutions is through online ranked battles. And you might be saying, Omniarch, well, what's the big deal about that? Okay, well, you need to be paying for Nintendo's online subscription service in order to do online ranked battles, just like you would need, for example, doing an online Mario Kart race. You need to be paying for Nintendo Online to do the online content, right? So the only way to get these beloved megas is to buy Nintendo Online. And you know, look, it's only a few dollars a month. It's not a big deal, right, for most people, but for some people this is going to rub them the wrong way. They don't want to play online ranked battles to get their favorite megas, and the fact that you have to pay for it on top of that is kind of crazy. But beyond that, Mega Raichu is probably even worse here, because Mega Raichu is featured in the DLC. And so Pokemon announced paid DLC for Legends ZA before the game is even out. And Raichu, I mean, do I even have to say it? This is one of the most iconic Pokemon. It is the evolution of Pikachu, which is literally the mascot for the entire franchise. People love Raichu. They loved when Raichu got its own Alolan form. And so the fact that, okay, if you want Mega Raichu, now you've got to buy the DLC, okay? So all of these beloved Mega Pokemon that they just announced, all of them are behind a paywall. You either are paying for Nintendo Online or you're paying for the ZA DLC. And all of this was announced before the game is even out, bro. Like, what kind of crazy precedent is Game Freak setting with this? Like, this is probably, and you can correct me in the comments if I'm wrong, I think this is the first time that Pokemon has ever released, or revealed, I should say, DLC for a game before the game is even out. And it may even be the first time we ever have DLC, paid DLC revealed for a Nintendo game before it came out, right? I cannot think of maybe there's a big example I'm forgetting here, but I can't think of Nintendo DLC that was announced before the game was even released, right? And I've been saying for months that Pokemon Legends ZA looks like slop. It looks like trash. I mean, we're talking about an uninspiring art direction with glued on windows. The game just looks terrible. It is for 8-year-old hardware, and the only people defending it are the hardcore Pokemon enjoyers, who you could throw lipstick on a Lechonk and these Pokemon fans would be making out with it. You know what I mean? Like, the mindless Pokemon consumer does not think about anything that they're being shown here. They're just clapping their hands and saying, yay, new Pokemon stuff, even though what they're being shown is garbage. And then on top of the garbage, they are now locking some of the garbage behind a paywall before even releasing the garbage to begin with. You understand? Like, the precedent that is set here is so disheartening, because here's what they're saying. They're saying that this DLC is ready at launch before the game is even out, and they are intentionally not including the DLC in the base game. So it's not like, oh my god, the game sold so well, people want an encore, they want more content, let's make DLC. No. What they're saying is, we've got all this content that's ready for launch day, but let's take this amount of the content and actually remove it from the base game, set it up as Raichu DLC, and charge them extra for it before the game is even out, right? Day one paid DLC is one of the worst practices in modern gaming, and as far as I know, this is the first time that we're seeing this for a big Pokemon release. Now, of course, they did actually have crazy day one paid DLC for the most recent Pokemon puzzle game that came out on the Switch and Switch 2 and on mobile. I think it's called Pokemon Friends. I made an entire video talking about how that game is a massive cash grab. And now they're taking that same parasitic and predatory practice and they are putting it into Legends ZA. And by the way, this is why Nintendo's patents are so detrimental to the gaming industry. I posted an entire video talking about this recently on the channel, but yeah, I can't believe that the Legends ZA slop is getting worse and worse as we are getting closer to launch date, right? I called it months ago. I said the game looked like trash, and I got so many people in the comments section saying, oh, he's a Pokemon hater, even though I've got every single mainline Pokemon game back there on the shelf. I've beaten all of them. I've collected the entire Pokedex for a majority of them, but these days Pokemon is not the same, and this is why. So all the Legends ZA fanboys that are defending the game, look, enjoy the game if you can, but they're spitting in your face, charging you extra for it, and you're defending them on the internet. Yikes. And the final topic we're going to cover here is more DLC drama, because we have the Donkey Kong Bananza DLC was also revealed over in the most recent Nintendo Direct, and even over on the Nintendo Switch 2 subreddit, people are giving this game tons of backlash. Now, this is, for those of you that don't know, a lot of times these big Nintendo subreddits are just a bunch of copium from the Nintendo fanboys, right? They're just all hyping each other up about the latest slop that they can't stop spending money on. So to see see this much backlash for the Bananza DLC over on that subreddit is actually kind of shocking, and it must mean that this is not worth the price. So here we can see this was the #1 thing upvoted on the subreddit when I first logged in today. 1.3 thousand upvotes. The post saying, I know everyone else is saying this, but it's for good reason. You get one new level with 0 collectibles or set pieces and a roguelike game mode that's easily broken by just warping to the objective and choosing the more emeralds on completion bonus. It is genuinely insulting that they are charging money for this. By the way, it is a $20 paid DLC. Okay, the only pieces of enjoyment I found are the remix of DK Isles. The pirate ship has references to Gangplank Galleon, and the DK64 screen transition sound when the screen shrinks to the DK letters being used for the warp barrels. That is really pathetic that is what you like the most out of this $20 DLC. And this is why I said in my most recent video, it doesn't make sense why they didn't just include this in the base game, right? This game came out 2 months ago. Bonanza came out on July 17th or something like that, and here we are on September 15th. 2 months later, they're releasing a $20 paid DLC, and it ain't much, right? It ain't much, but it's $20. And so people are pissed about this. And I said in my most recent video, it would have just made more sense for them to release Donkey Kong Bananza as an $80 game and then just included this DLC in the base game. They would have made more money, right? Nintendo would have made more money by charging people $80, giving them more content on day one. But instead, they went the route of trying to get $90 out of you, and it's backfiring because now people are not buying it. It's getting a lot of backlash on the internet, and it's because it's just not worth it. It's not worth $20. Remember, Silk Song was $20. You get an entire game for $20. All right, so this is highway robbery, and it's just so disappointing to see that Nintendo is taking this strategy that has plagued the rest of the gaming industry. By the way, Nintendo is not the only one, obviously, but this strategy people have hated throughout the entire gaming industry, and now Nintendo is doing the same thing, but they're being even more predatory about it, releasing things like, or announcing things before it's even out. And at the end of the day, the Mario Galaxy and Galaxy 2 re-release, or in the Galaxy's case, re-release, is the #1 best-selling thing on Amazon. And so Nintendo is getting away with it yet again, ladies and gentlemen, and only Nintendo could pull this off. I swear to God, it's actually insane. Nintendo is the Apple and the Disney of video games, and I think this just proves it. But guys, if you made it all the way to the end of the video, consider dropping a thumbs up. It really helps out small channels like mine beat the YouTube algorithm. Consider subscribing if you're new here. Most of you guys are not subscribed, so click the button and click the bell if you want to be notified the next time that I upload gaming news. And with that being said, guys, let me know what you think about all this in the comment section below. Thank you so much for watching. This has been Omniarch. I'll talk to you guys again soon. Peace.